ZANU PF members of parliament face the charges of treachery, particularly those who did not vote for Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3. And we are not talking about to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. So ZANU PF MPs who snapped Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 votes faces internal charges of treachery. So this is the story I have with me. It says a ZANU PF MP has been twice suspended for treachery after twice skipping votes on constitutional amendments extending President Emerson Mnangagwa's term. Spe Sithole, the MP for Insiza North in Matabeleland South, has held before a provincial disciplinary committee chaired by Albert Ngulube, facing 5 charges. Both Ngulube and Sithole declined to comment, but a source said Sithole was found guilty and suspended from the party for 3 years. The suspension must be ratified by the National Disciplinary Committee and Politburo for it to take effect. Ngulube is an ally of Vice President Constantino Chiwenga and a relative of his wife, Minnie Yotabo. The Constitution of Zimbabwe Amendment number 3 bill sailed through the National Assembly after votes on June 18 and June 30, both of which Sithole missed. On one of those dates, when Sithole reportedly said he was sick, ZANU PF's disciplinary committee heard he was in his constituency making a donation. Sithole owns a security company and has interest in gold mining. The war veteran was not the only ZANU PF MP who missed a vote, although an overwhelming number voted for the amendments, despite reports of significant internal opposition. Tatenda Mabetera, the MP for Chikomba West and ICT Minister, reportedly went to Mnangagwa groveling after missing the first vote, telling the ZANU PF leader she arrived minutes before voting and found the doors closed. She voted for the bill on June 30. The action against Sithole could signal a wider crackdown targeting ZANU PF dissenters against the constitutional amendments, which are now law after Mnangagwa signed the bill. Constitution Amendment number 3, gazetted on July 7 after Mnangagwa's assent, extends presidential and parliamentary terms from 5 to 7 years and applies his extension to the incumbent president, the sitting Senate and National Assembly, scrapping elections that had been due in 2028. It also overhauls the president is elected, shifting from a direct popular vote to election by parliament. Analysts have noted the change in widely seen as complicating any succession bid by Chiwenga. The law further expands presidential powers to appoint judges and the prosecutor general, creates a new delimitation commission, and transfers voter registration functions from Zimbabwe Electoral Commission to the Registrar General. Multiple challenges are now before the courts. Former Pinga North MP Prince Dubego Spanda filed an application in the Constitutional Court arguing the amendment unlawfully extends the president of the terms of the incumbent president, parliament and councillors in violation of section 3287 of the Constitution. Separately, National Constitutional Assembly member Vurande Mahlupego has asked the Constitutional Court to declare the entire act null and void. arguing Parliament breached Section 328(3) by introducing not contained in the bill as originally published for public scrutiny among 4 constitutional objections. So that is what is happening in ZANU PF. Members of parliament who did not, it's difficult sometimes for these ZANU PF members of parliament and vote against ZANU PF. It was difficult because the voting process had to be public. And remember, the war veterans such as Muchena and others had actually told the members of parliament, both for ZANU PF as well as for opposition, that there would be consequences for those members of parliament who will vote for this illegal process, that is Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 of 2026. So some MPs deliberately delayed, some deliberately had excuses. They became sick on the day in an effort not to put themselves in danger. If asked by the Mnangagwa faction if it prevails, they would simply say, no, I was sick. But guess what? They had to actually investigate what the MP was doing on that particular day, and some happened to have made some donation in some places but were nowhere to be seen in the Parliament of Zimbabwe. So that is what Emmerson Tambutso Mnangagwa now is following. He is after those members of Parliament to actually get rid of them. So you can see there is no democracy in ZANU PF. Even if you disagree with the president, that is not allowed. You are not supposed to disagree with the president. If the majority says this is the step you must take, even if in your conscience you are a member of parliament, you do feel this is wrong, you cannot vote against what the majority has actually endorsed is the right thing, even if it's wrong. So these MPs, I understand, like Space Itole, they were trying to actually prevent themselves because it's unknown really which of the two factions at the end of the day will have the last say. You can actually side with the Chiwenga faction, and at the moment it is seemingly trailing back from the faction of Emmerson Tambutso Mnangagwa. At the same time, you can side with the Emmerson Tambutso Mnangagwa faction, but the future is not certain for sure as whether Emmerson Tambutso Mnangagwa is going to go away with this one, because there are a lot of things at stake. Is the retired General Chiwenga faction not going to retaliate? I think some members of ZANU PF will be circled or would know which position to take if one of these two leaders of the warring factions are maybe defeated by how being expelled from ZANU PF or expelled from government, be it Emmerson Tambutso Mnangagwa or or retired General Chiwenga. As long as Chiwenga is still the vice president, it's quite difficult to predict whether Emmerson Tambutso Mnangagwa has totally weakened him. And you hear his faction also issues directives as well. So ZANU PF members becomes more confused because Mnangagwa faction will directive. Retired General Chiwenga faction through the retired military generals will also issue a directive. Equally so, Emmerson Tambutso Mnangagwa, that's why I've always said it must be a very difficult thing, especially to be one of the followers of these leaders, because you don't know. Maybe you may make the correct decision or you may make the wrong decision. So every decision you make becomes consequential. Thank you very much for watching us. If you're watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. You can financially support this channel by pressing the join button and be part of our members who are the heartbeat of this channel. You can equally do so by pressing the thanks button and send us stars. But you know what? There is a real deal happening on the 31st of July. If you participate in this protest, that's why you see Amakwalalawa, they are running left, right, and center, because they know protests are the real deal. If you participate, this can change the political situation in Zimbabwe. Okancubo Mhlabane is signing off. Love and leave you. Let's meet on the other side of the live program.